Hello everyone. Welcome to our Smarty live stream. We discuss every week everything that's going on in SEO, search, AI, digital marketing, building, content marketing industries. We always have a lot of new stuff to discuss because our industry is moving very quickly. We are waiting for my co-host April to join. While we are waiting for her, I'll give a quick introduction. I'm Anne Smarty. I am co-founder of Smarty.marketing. We are based in New York and we love being up to date with everything that's going on in search. Hi, April. We are live now, so you can say hello to everyone. I just started my introductions.
Everyone, technical difficulties.
Yep, they sometimes happen with live broadcasts, so it's no wonder we have some of them happening. So what I was saying is that we are an SEO agency based in New York, and we love providing personalized approach to every client that comes to us, and we love being up to date with everything that's going on in our industry. So join us every Wednesday 1 p.m. EST for these quick discussions over lunch or whichever time zone you are in. We would love your questions. We would love your feedback on maybe new topic ideas that you would like us to discuss. We love your feedback. We live stream to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. So find us everywhere. You can search and Smarty. You will find my Twitter profile, X profile, LinkedIn, and you will be able to join us every week for these broadcasts. Also over at ansmarty.com, I have a newsletter where I announce our weekly topics and give a lot of context to what we're going to discuss over this broadcast. So please subscribe to be up to date with SEO and search industries and to know what's happening. I've been an SEO for 20 years. April is our social media outreach director and also designer. So she's not as much into SEO. That's why we have her input on these live streams, because we would love to know what people who are not as deep into SEO think about everything that's going on and what else they would like to know about these topics. Thank you for coming, April. And today will be a very interesting topic about helpful content and how Google defines it, how it explains it to their quality raters. In a few minutes, we'll discuss that. Before, a quick update from our industry. There is a first legal case against Google about, I think the company is called Check, and they are suing Google for losing traffic over AI overviews. I think their case is that Google is using their content, but not providing enough incentive to click on it. I don't know how about, okay. I just saw you twice, April.
I think we're good now.
Okay, so
Not
this
sure what
is
was happening.
this is the first legal case against Google and its AI introduction, its AI features. I would love, it's very interesting to know how it unfolds and whether other companies decide to join. Of course, we do need corporations and brands and big names to join for it to make a huge difference. None of us is much excited about AI in search results, not because it's first of all, in many cases it's really unhelpful, and for us it is a huge issue because it does steal clicks. We don't know exactly the CTR, click-through rate, from AI overviews. Google does not give us that information, and according to their reps, they're not planning to. So we don't know how much exactly clicks are being sent from AI overviews to websites. But because many of us are losing clicks from search results, we do know that's because of AI overviews, because it has started happening with AI going global and going public. So we'll see how that unfolds. I'll keep you posted on that case as much as I can. And we have our fingers crossed that it is successful. For today, we have a topic discussing quality rating guidelines. Those are official guidelines from Google that is being handed to human raters who rate quality of search results. A quick disclaimer, those guidelines are not describing actual signals, actual ranking signals, but that is a very useful piece of information for us to know, because it shows exactly what Google wants to see in search results. And of course, those ratings that human beings are giving to websites and web pages that are ranking for certain queries, they do not impact your rankings either. There's no direct impact, but that is used as an aggregated data for Google to adjust their algorithm and improve the quality of search results. So it is a very interesting document for all of us. It's a huge one. So we will be providing you with some information on what it does and takeaways on what it does explain and how it is being explained to the raters, for you to be able to know what it is, what to pay attention to without having to read the whole thing. So today is an interesting topic, that helpfulness of content. We know that what it was 2 years ago, 2023, Google had 2 helpful content updates, which actually buried some of the independent publishers and prevented them from ranking in organic search results because their content was deemed unhelpful. No one knows as of today, there are no helpful content guidelines for publishers that Google would give and say, hey, if you follow this, you will be okay. Moreover, most of those publishers were not able to recover, so they were penalized basically, but never recovered from that loss. So we don't know exactly what would help anyone be safe from those helpful content updates. Another thing to remember is that helpful content updates are no more. There will be no more helpful content updates because the helpful content algorithm is now part of Google's core updates. So whenever you lose traffic over core update, that may mean that's because your content was deemed unhelpful, but you would not know exactly why, because no core algorithm update has, again, clear guidelines. So we don't really know what it targets. They come and about every 2 to 3 months. And there is always an impact on some websites, but there is no clear recovery from those updates either, just as from helpful content update. So before you are hit with any of these updates, it's a good idea to go through the checklist of what Google thinks is helpful, what their raters are rating as helpful and useful content. Because recovering is very difficult and in many cases impossible thing to do. So to avoid being a hit by helpful content algorithm system, you would probably go and look at your website, audit it right now, and see if there are any red flags that would point Google to its unhelpfulness. I will give a quick list of what Google is telling their raters should be rated as low quality or not helpful. But again, and Smarty.com is a more detailed list with examples, screenshots from the document, so that you can just go through that newsletter and see what you can and should do to your website now to avoid being hit by the future upcoming helpful core algorithm update. So first of all, Google does introduce 2 main concepts. First is main content, and the second one is supplemental content. Main content is the main thing on your website. That is what solves search intent or the purpose of your site, or helps searchers who typed a particular search query in their search box. So you need to have that main content on the very top of the page. First of all, it should be the first thing people see, because it is providing the help to searchers, to Google's users. So those should be, avoid any huge banners, any huge introductions, anything that goes on top should be your main content. Main content can be text content, answering the query. It could be the product information if that's an e-commerce site. So everything that helps people right away should be on the very top. Supplemental content could be navigation, could be footer, could be any other things that add to usability of your site, but it doesn't actually serve the purpose of the page. You need to know the purpose of the page depending on the search query that you are targeting. It could be informational, it could be explaining, it could be answering the question, it could be giving the price, it could be anything that's helping people right away. So make sure that you have that quick answer, quick information right on top of the page. That's the main thing Google is emphasizing a lot throughout the document. Another interesting concept here is filler content. That doesn't solve the problem of the user, but it could be still valuable and useful if it provides important context, explanations, Q&As. All of that can be helpful, but it cannot be on top of the page. It cannot be the introduction of the page. Your filler content can be entertaining. It could solve many other problems, help people in additional way, like providing them with more information about the product, but it has to go below the main content. So that filler content cannot be on top. And we've seen, and the actual example in the document is a recipe of some, I forgot what it was, beer. And in the very top of that page was a quick introduction on how that person discovered and was inspired to write this recipe on their website, to share it. To me, it's quite valuable information. I always want to know how those recipes are born, how people come up with them, what inspired them and motivated them to change something in that recipe, what that change made to the recipe, which problems it solved. I love all of that information. Just like with travel websites, I love the introduction of how people actually got to that place and why they decided to go there. All of that can be useful. It cannot be in the introduction. The introduction should be the most useful and quick snapshot of answering the answer. For example, if it's a recipe, a great introduction could be a quick snapshot of the ingredients needed, time needed to cook that particular food or meal, and how many calories or per serving it has, and then the details of the steps. I think that is a great way to engage people right away and even let them decide if they really want to cook that, if they have all the necessary time, ingredients, and all of that before they go 2 steps. For travel related websites, that could be anything from time needed, how difficult it is to get there or to go on a hike, all of what you need to, how you need to be dressed, what you need to have with you. All of that is also a great introduction to any travel page. If it's a product page, for me, that would be a quick image that can be enlarged, maybe several images to click through, price, and shipping and delivery information. That could be a great first part of the most prominent part of the page, and that is main content. So keep in mind that your very top of the page should be serving the user as fast and efficient as it can. With that, there is also 3 important components of helpful content that Google lists. That is, one, originality, how original content it is. And it's not about the originality that in SEO world is just different words, using the words that no one else is using. No, it's actual adding something unique to your page. And that could be, again, your experience, your expertise, anything that is added, or how you tried the product, anything unique you can come up with. Maybe that could be for the product page, that could be actual people wearing something and showing you how it looks. I always click through those images and to see what that dress, for example, looks in real life. Something unique, something that no one else has. If Google does give an example of a listicle that has several products listed on the page, but all of that is just repurposing other people's lists and other people's reviews. Nothing unique is added. If you want to add something unique, you can use other people's reviews too, but you have to read a ton of them and find some actual useful information, summarize it, list it for every product. Or if you use that product, mention how you did it and what you liked or disliked about it. So anything unique added to your page is an important component of content helpfulness. Another concept here to mention is kill. Google does not really explain that concept in much detail throughout the document, but I guess that goes back to why you have the right to talk about something you are talking about, whether it's your unique experience with the concept, with the topic, education, expertise, anything that can be anything throughout the document that shows that you have the right to talk about and believed and trusted of what you are talking about. And finally, there is effort. Also the concept that explains to human readers what if the page is helpful enough. That could be anything from any added effort to the page. That could be translation of the poem, and even your unique translation would be great. Anything that you did, if for a product page, that could be measuring instructions, it could be comparison to other products, it could be, again, Q&A from people or reviews. Any added effort would be great. For Amazon, I think that is a great example of how effort can be actually done by AI. I love their quick summaries of all the reviews, pointing what people like, what people dislike, and then you can go further and see the detailed reviews beneath that. So anything you can add to the page that is helpful and helps the main purpose of the page is a great idea. Finally, something we already knew, anything that is distracting and interrupting is not a good idea. So all those pop-ups that you have to click off, a quick and funny thing is that if you use Google Ads on your site, that's exactly what they will be doing. They will be preventing people from using your page. So Google does not really help us with following its own guidelines, but here we are, using ads that scroll with you. As you scroll down the page, you have to click off to read something. All of that is not a good idea if you want to rank in Google at this point. Titles. Google does think that your title tag is the main content because they can't show up in search results. Anything misleading, exaggerated, mostly misleading, that's the worst case when the page is not exactly about what it says in the title, would be marked as unhelpful. So your title should be very on point and describe exactly what is on your page. They can be detailed, but they cannot be misleading and exaggerated. So I think that is it Again, nsmarty.com. I provide lots of screenshots and examples from the document, so check it out and use it as a checklist for your highest ranking pages. As we know, helpful content hits the most highest traffic pages on your site, probably because Google does have additional signals from those clicks, but it can also impact the whole site if there are enough unhelpful pages on your site. The core algorithm update can hit your whole site. So keep an eye on that, but I would definitely start with your most clicked, highest ranking pages. Google does have much more data about them than anything else, so make sure to check that out. And I have no idea what is beeping. I think I muted everything. But anyways, if you have any additional questions, April will highlight them there. And I know April has a few questions as well. And we can discuss that further. Unique as in a different angle of the topic. Not necessarily a different angle. It could be one way to make your page unique, the most unique. Anything that you can add from yourself. For example, when I have a list of tools, I don't just list the tools and I create unique screenshots of me using the tool. I describe what exactly I did and what exactly I didn't like about every tool and what I'm missing for every tool. So it shows that I actually use them. It's unique, it's originality again. If you go somewhere, if you travel and you have a travel blog describing hidden gems, describing what you did to get there and why you decided to go there, is it a good idea to take your kids there or your pets there? And all that experience driven information is great. If you're an expert on something, add your unique expertise and tell us why it's a good idea to do this and that, and why it may be not a good idea for someone to do that, this and that. So anything unique could be an angle, could be your unique experience, could be a comparison chart that you created yourself, listing all the important information about the list or the topic that you're talking about. I, for one, got known for my tool reviews way back 20 years ago when I was writing for Search Engine Journal, exactly because I was creating those comparison charts of the tools, which made it so easy for people to pick the best tool that based on their budget, based on their needs, and they were really doing well. Anything you can add and help people to from your own mindset, like it could be your own perspective. You are the writer. Just listing something or just talking about something is not helpful enough. Additional help is both effort and originality, and that is what Google is looking for.
We already kind of talked about this, but what are some other ways to make a page's goal or purpose known so that it receives like a high rating by Google?
Google does mention that if the purpose of the page is not clear, that's the lowest ranking. And it is something to keep in mind. I think if you know your user in search query that they may be using and questions that they may be asking, making that purpose, is it answering the question? Is it giving directions? Is it providing help to people with certain needs, like family friendly content, content about helping people with kids, helping people with pets? Maybe that's a product page. If you load that page and you know exactly what it does, if it's selling something, if it's explaining something, if it's giving a definition, if it's giving directions, if it's helping you pick the best product or the best option out there, then you are okay, basically.
You also mentioned like putting an effort. Would like adding transcriptions to things like videos or infographics be considered putting an effort for like a more positive user experience?
I don't know if the actual script would be as helpful as, let's say, takeaways or comparisons, or in our, for example, case, when we create infographics, we always provide charts, comparison charts and text for people to be able to see the actual, to scroll down and see actual data, not just visualized, but also in text as well. So any effort like that is useful. If I see a video on a page, if it's, for example, a podcast, and there is a script beneath it with all the ums, ems, and all of that, I don't find it particularly helpful, to be honest. But if it's an important, all the key points discussed in the video, then it is definitely helpful.
Something that I like to do is like at the end of like an article, I'll like, if you want to learn more about this, or like you need help with this or something, here's like some additional resources like relevant to like the topic. Would that be like showing,
Yes.
putting in effort? Cool.
It is definitely putting an effort if you provide more information to people. And Google does mention that especially for your money, your life topics, you do need to be very consistent with actual experts in the industry. So you cannot claim that the world is flat just like that. And you need to be very factual and provide authoritative citations. So I think that giving official sources like Gov sources and or research, linking to the actual research that you are talking about, that is also added value and also helpful as well.
An interesting comment from Todd.
Radio and news hosts do what they call show notes. I found those fascinating. Yes, that is a great idea too. So imagine you are basically the bottom line here is to be helpful. You need to imagine yourself in the shoes of those searchers and be as helpful and as to them as needed. Just adding something for the sake of adding something is not a good idea, or for the sake of keywords. You do need to try and understand the people's needs and also your demographics, basically how well they may know the topic to be searching for a particular keyword. If they do not, if they are very high level keywords like just, let's say, CRM, you know that people may not be very knowledgeable about that topic. So maybe the helpful part would be give a definition, give some examples or use cases when it could help them. If they even need CRM, maybe they don't know what they're searching for, and then provide them with more links and additional sources to get them deeper in that sales or conversion funnel as well. So always think the user first, and that is where all the helpfulness comes from.
I have one more question. I think we can squeeze it in.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a ton of recipe sites usually start off with like the huge story and then like go into the recipe, and there's like a lot of photos and everything. Like, is this no longer like the ideal practice?
Yeah, I think it is. I think I saw lots of recipe sites because I went to food bloggers conferences. And most of them do have a quick introduction on why they even provide that recipe. But there is a button to click and go directly to the recipe. That didn't save them. That button didn't save them. So starting off with a quick, with everything that they need to cook, and then go to steps, and then follow up with the actual story of that recipe and how you came up with it and why you're listing it. I think that is something that we need to be doing at this point, because to avoid sending any negative signals to Google and being hit by anything. So yes, start with the most helpful, the most useful, the main content, as Google says, on top of the page. And even banners, like those huge banner that holds like half of your screen. Yes, it's pretty. Yes, it can be engaging. People, if it's a great banner, people could be staying on the side just to play with it. But it's probably not the best idea at this point you need your answer first.
That makes sense.
Yes, and with that, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you liked this episode. Again, every Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST, we discuss something important like that and also share that through our newsletters. So subscribe and smarty.com and join us every week, Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST for these discussions. If you need a topic to be discussed, please let us know. And we would love to hear and do what is needed in our industry. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.